Hey everyone, welcome back. Up next, we have Bronxwitch Headquarters. That's right, everyone. We got a Bronxwitch Headquarters in the BX. It's a spiritual shop and actually a work share space right here. And they offer products such as candles and tarot decks and services like tarot readings, Reiki sessions, workshops, and guess what? They're going to be hosting their first ever book signing event with Bronx native Antonio Pagliarulo, author of The Evil Eye, The History, Mystery, Magic of the Quiet Curse. I hear it's quite the read. And here to share more, we welcome witch, tarot reader, Reiki master, and owner of Bronxwitch Headquarters, Aly Kravetz.
Hello, Rena. Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Thank
in
you.
studio.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here in person. It's amazing.
It's I'm so happy you were able to be here in person.
Thank you.
I mean, I think we had you on last year virtually, right? Introducing the Bronxwitch Headquarters. However, I would like to reintroduce it to our viewers because the concept itself is very, very intriguing, right? Especially the work share space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to assume that's working in the spiritual realm.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So give us a little background on the Bronxwitch Headquarters.
Yes, so Bronxwitch Headquarters is a spiritual shop and workshare space, as you know. We opened up in October of 2021, so we're coming up on our 2-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. We're really proud to be a representation of the spiritual and magical community and a resource space for them, offering products, offering services, but also offering reservable space, as you mentioned, for practitioners in the area who need a place to take clients and expand their outreach, because the more healers there are, the better.
Right, which is what today's topic seems to be. Actually, it seems to be the topic
It's
that I
the
discuss every
theme.
single Friday.
Yes.
Well, it's this week's theme, but it's quite frankly the topic we're always discussing because I think we need to discuss it more.
Yes,
right?
I agree.
And I think that it comes in different forms.
Yes.
And I think that everyone's contribution matters, whether it's your practice, your choice of practice or not. The fact that there's alternatives and there's other options. The idea is that, look, we're presenting it to you guys in a way that it's kind of like it could be for you or it could not.
Yeah.
However, look, the idea is that we're all consciously making an effort to just heal collectively.
Absolutely. Healing comes in so many different forms, and what we all need is different. And so we are there for those who are looking for healing of a spiritual style.
Right. And so I already introduced, they have tarot, Reiki, right? So for some who may not be familiar with it, I am, but let's just give them a little background on like Reiki being energy healing and what that consists of. You work with crystals, the chakras. We can give them a little bite.
Just a little taste.
Yeah.
So, I think the beautiful thing about spiritual healing is that it really addresses all of the different parts of your body. So obviously we have the physical body and we're all pretty familiar with that, but we also have our emotional body and our spiritual body and our intellectual body. And all of these parts of ourselves a lot of times get ignored, especially in an environment like the South Bronx where we're located, where, as you mentioned earlier, people are really doing everything they can to survive. And sometimes that's about all we can do.
Right.
So those, feeding the physical body, making sure the physical body is okay, but sometimes we just stop there. And so Reiki and the other types of practices that you find at our shop address the other bodies and make sure that you're taking care of those parts of yourself too.
Right, which are also at least they're part of our existence is what I was going to allude to in understanding that it really takes something to discipline oneself to even pay attention to that, right? I'm always preaching about meditation. Even if it's 5 minutes, it's really a time that you're honoring yourself, to be with self, to really assess what's going on, both mind, body, and spirit, right? And so in doing so, there's like this awareness and appreciation that comes, and gratitude and kindness, really, because we need so much more kindness in this world, and that's what we're here talking about. about, really.
Truly,
Yeah.
truly. And I love that you mentioned meditation because that's a mindfulness technique. And mindfulness is something that, like we said, a lot of us don't feel like we have the time for. Or we take a moment to be present with ourselves, and it's not great what's happening. We're the victims of a lot of racial injustice, socioeconomic injustice. And so when you are present in the moment, you might not like what you see. And we like to think that we offer empowerment and alternatives for ways that you can address some of the issues you might be having in your life or that you might see around you.
Right. And so that was our quick, synopsis of all the different ways or the conversations that are being had in this particular community. But we're really here to talk about this book signing event that's the first of its kind. And the book title is interesting itself, The Evil Eye. I think we've all heard of that saying, the evil eye.
Yeah.
So I only got to skim through the book because it was handed to me, a little last minute. And what I do appreciate in what I did read is that it has a lot of historical context.
Yes.
To it.
Yes, the subtitle of the book is The History, Mystery, and Magic of the Evil Eye, of the Quiet Curse, actually. And Antonio Pagliarulo, the author, is, speaking from a very well-researched perspective, but also from a hands-on perspective, being the child of South Italian immigrants and growing up with Italian folk magic in his household. The Evil Eye is something that is talked about quite a bit in the Italian culture, but really we see it kind of all over the world. And that really speaks to, I think, the prevalence of it and the idea that there is an unseen body that we have, and that body can be harmed, perhaps, by the intentions of those who don't wish us well. And so Antonio does a really great job of exploring the history behind the concept, but probably most importantly, what to do about it if you feel like you've been harmed by that. So I'm really excited to have him in the shop talking more about the book and more about the Quiet Curse.
That's, I'm intrigued by it, right? Because we can go into deep conversation about our existence having other realms, right? And so I want to say during the pandemic, right? Specifically during the pandemic, I feel like that reality was heightened, right?
Yeah.
And so right now where we're at is it's kind of like we have to really take everything into consideration now, a little deeper. And so the fact that this is actually being presented in a book form, and really it's to enlighten individuals and to also address the similarities that we all have within our differences, right?
Yeah.
Because we're talking Italian folklore. I know in the Caribbean, we believe in that too.
Absolutely. My husband and I got to travel to Turkey, and you're going to see the Nazar Evil Eye symbol all over in that culture as well. So this is the concept really comes from a universal principle that I think most of us recognize as true, and maybe some folks don't, but I think most of us realize that the mind controls it all, that it starts with the mental. Every single thing in this studio, in this world, came from a thought first. And so what we think first really does dictate what happens in front of us and what actually happens in the physical world. And that's in the good and the bad.
Right.
And so I personally do believe that if someone is thinking harmful thoughts about you, that can be just as impactful as them coming up and hitting you.
Right.
And you want to know how to protect yourself in the physical and in the mental.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in that right now because I want to say, as a society, we're kind of dealing with that.
Yeah.
As a society, right? We've got a lot of mental health issues. And we have a mental health crisis that
Truly.
and it just seems to keep amplifying. And so part of I want to say, I'm hoping that there's a real strong effort made in finding a way to really heal from the capacity of like, okay, yeah, it's one thing to be diagnosed, and not to say that you shouldn't get, visit a doctor if you find yourself in a really bad situation, but if you find yourself in this, I want to say, repetitive mode of like repeating a thought that's not making you feel good, then, it's really in your best interest to explore and find ways to find your way back.
Yeah.
And that is where we have arrived.
Truly, I agree.
But it comes with a consciousness first.
Yes, the mindfulness.
Yes.
The mindfulness, checking in with yourself first and realizing, wait a minute, I think something might be off here, and it could be a result of your own mindset or the mindset of those around you. And one of the chapters in the book that I'm most excited about is chapter 4, where Antonio talks about how to diagnose this, how to look at your life and look for physical signs or perhaps spiritual or emotional signs that mentally you are being impacted either by your own thoughts or by the thoughts of others.
Right, because, the people you surround yourself play a role in how you feel about yourself.
Huge role.
Yeah. And that could just come from energy, which is what we're discussing
That's
right now.
exactly what we're talking about.
Exactly.
Because the quiet curse, the reason why it's called the quiet curse, as Antonio explains, is it can be sent to you unintentionally because it's the energy really of the person, and whether or not they're holding space for you and want you to be safe, or whether they're feeling some type of problem and maybe don't have the best thoughts or the best intentions for you.
Right, for themselves and for anyone else.
Right.
Because it doesn't even have to be personalized.
Yeah.
Again, it's just an awareness. I'm a strong believer, obviously, in energy and our existence in that realm. And I think this is it looks like it's going to be a very delicious read.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to reading it. So for anyone who's interested in participating in the book signing event, is it reservations or how's that working?
We're so excited. This is a ticketed event. There are 2 parts of the event. The first part, Sunday, July 30th at 1 p.m. is going to be a private, intimate chat with Antonio. That's a $25 ticket, and you get a chapter reading, and we get to talk to him and ask questions, and it's going to be wonderful. And there are actually only 10 spots available for that. And the second half is a public book signing. It is free. It is ticketed, so we ask that you get a ticket ahead of time, but it is completely free. And whichever ticket you choose, you can add a copy of the book right there when you buy your ticket. So
wonderful. Well, thank you for bringing it here. Aly
you.
Kravetz, everyone. Witch Aly Kravetz, I should say, tarot reader, Reiki master, and of course, Bronxwitch Headquarters owner. And once again, the Bronxwitch Headquarters book signing and private chat event with Antonio Pagliarulo, author, I hope I said that right, author of Evil Eye, The History, Mystery, and Magic of the Quiet Curse, is set to take place this Sunday, July 30th. Private chat is happening from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., and then the public signing will be happening from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the Bronxwitch Headquarters, which is located at 910 Grand Concourse, Unit 1H. Once again, for more information and for tickets, visit bronxwitch.com. All right, stay tuned. Our Open Artist Spotlight is coming up next.